Okay.
Really good. And it's saying, really good. You gotta like the charcoal. Yeah. The charcoal. Yeah.
Yeah. I did.
But it was good. And it was right, and it was tender, I get some tender. Yeah. Be a little, yeah, a little tough, a little.
Your minutes is fair. One now, close enough. You're here.
Walk in after me.
Okay, we'll rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome. A few items, if you'd please silence your cell phones. Our meetings are public and recorded. It is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes. For best sound quality, please lean into these microphones. And Alderman Nevoy is not with us this evening. So with that, we'll kick off the Finance Committee. So I'll take that one. Call it to order at 6 p.m. with Nevoy absent, but we do have Hannabit, Reiniker, Schwarzkopf, and Peel in attendance. There's no old business, so I will call for a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes of June 19th.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? Everyone, all in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next up is your investment register in your packet. Just note there's a few CDs that are coming due in November, and I think Rodney will cover those in a future meeting. Next up after that is the financial statement summary or financial dashboard. We're only 2 months into the fiscal year, so it's a little early to really get, scrutinize this too closely. You will note the real estate taxes have not come in yet, but I think we all got those little gifts in our mailbox here recently. So a few more weeks or months and we'll see that in revenue rolling in. But beyond that, I don't see any other concerns. Anything on the financial statements. Next is our Monroe Randolph Transit District representative is here that would like to make a short presentation and a request. So if you want to step forward and state your name for the record, and then the floor is yours.
My name is Mark Berry, and I'm here.
Hey, Mark, pull this down so we can.
Sorry. My name is Mark Berry, and I'm here this evening representing Monroe Randolph Transit. I am the Community Relations Manager. Randolph Transit has been around since 2005, and we are the one and only public transportation in Monroe and Randolph counties, and we can take anyone anywhere in those 2 counties. Currently, a one-way ride with us is $6, so that could be right here from Redbud to Stillville, $6. But that could also be Redbud IGA across to North County Country Club is still $6. So as costs continue to rise, we're always looking for ways to lower the cost of public transportation. MRTD has developed a fair sponsorship program called Go Local for our municipalities. With the Go Local program, we are looking to cut fares to $3 half price rides for rides within your city limits. This program has been designed for inner city trips to encourage riders, citizens of your town to shop local, doctor local, work local, and stay local for more of their needs. But we need your help. The Go Local program assesses the sponsorship level per capita based on the most recent census data. The assessment is $1 per capita, and this will lock the local fare at $3 trips that occur within your city limits for the 2024 fiscal year. 2020 census had Redbud at a little over 3,800. So you'd be looking at a $3,800 investment for the upcoming fiscal year, so citizens of your town could experience $3 half price rides. MRTD ridership numbers has Redbud for the 2023 fiscal year at almost 4,900 total trips that either started, finished, or stayed in Redbud. And of those, almost 1,100 of those trips started and finished in Redbud. So that would be part of the Go Local program, which comes out to about 34% of the total rides that involved Redbud were of the Go Local program. With your sponsorship, we would do obviously newspaper and social media marketing, because we want to get the word out that you guys are part of the Go Local program and that your citizens can experience the half price rides. We would obviously do annual rider participation. We'd want you guys to know where the numbers are at. I mean, we'd want you to know that after a year that, you know, it's a good deal that we're seeing an increase. And honestly, I was brought in February, and that's been one of my things that I was brought in as marketing, and is to get out and, you know, push things. The big thing is to make everyone aware of us. Everyone is familiar with public transportation in the city. Excuse me. For instance, everyone's rode Metrolink to go to St. Louis to do anything. The problem is in rural transportation, there's still a great need for it. It's just getting the word out. And that's what my job is to get the word out, do more advertising. So I really expect, I mean, obviously, as everyone knows, coming out of COVID, but our numbers have been increasing since coming out of COVID. And I really expect them to continue on to that. So is there any questions?
How convenient is this for people, like to say, just in Redbud? I mean, can they call and someone will pick them up within?
So right now, we are 24 hours advance notice. So you call it 24 hours advance notice, schedule it, and we can get you picked up, taken. And majority of the time when you call in, you're going to schedule both pickup and drop off. You know, you're going to schedule both into your rides. You're going to say, hey, I want to go to the, you know, I want to go to the grocery store. We have like a 15-minute pickup window. So we'll say, okay, say 11 o'clock, we could be a little early or a little late. Obviously, sometimes traffic kind of gets hung up, but we have a 15-minute pickup window, and you could say, hey, you know, I'd like to be at the grocery store for an hour, and it may be an hour, 15, hour and a half, but that's what we're looking at. So our long-term goal is to get possibly where we get the shuttles to where we'll have a shuttle, you know, we'll have a shuttle in Redbud, a shuttle in Chester, excuse me. And those shuttles would be on call. You know, you'd be looking at maybe 15 minutes and they could get you around.
Yeah, reason I'm asking, I'm assuming the bulk of the ridership is probably seniors. Or is that not true?
I mean, obviously, seniors and disabilities is always going to be your higher, but we're starting to see it more used for workforce. We had, excuse me, man, a couple of weeks ago, we actually had someone here from Redbud call as a grandmother, and she wanted to take her 3 kids to the swimming pool. So that's what we're trying to encourage, is more of everybody, and that's everybody can ride it. I mean, it's there for everyone to use. So we've got some other things looking into where younger people possibly, you know, needing travel within local and they can't get around. So that's what we're trying to really push, is to get to realize that's what, everyone, or like I said, anyone, anywhere in the two counties. So
What are your hours of operation?
hours of operation right now are 5:30 to 5.
So if we would commit to this, we're committing to a 1 year
1 year.
deal,
Yep,
correct?
1 year.
And we could take a look at it after that.
Yep. And you'd
See
be,
what-
excuse me, you'd be prorated. Since, right now we're at the end of July, you'd be prorated. Because what we're trying to do is keep everybody on the fiscal year. So, I mean, we want to try,
Right.
at the end, we want to keep everything. We won't want to be bouncing all over with this one's due and that one's due.
Don't we have funds in like tourism or something like that or other?
We have funds on a variety of lines.
I mean, I'm just variety of other things is what I'm saying
Oh, yeah.
that could be used for.
Where
that.
it could be, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I know we have different
right.
things
Where
we
it
can
could actually
use
come
for
from.
certain things that it could come out of those is what I meant.
Yeah, there's I'm sure there's a.
I could think of a couple lines that could come out.
Sure.
So what would be the total that you're asking for this evening?
3,800.
3,800? I'm not on the committee. I'd make the motion.
You're not on a committee.
I'm waiting for her to ask. I'll make a motion, just waiting for her to ask.
No, I was asking if anyone has any further questions first. And then, Mark, just to clarify, if I remember right, Sparta, Chester and Steelville are already participating in
That's
this?
correct,
So
yep.
we would join forces with a few
That
of
is
the other
correct, yep.
larger cities in Randolph County if we, okay.
And right off the bat, you're gonna have, newspaper articles. Brian is here. Newspaper articles, social media stating you guys are on board.
Okay,
And you did say you have the ability to pick up handicapped and.
Absolutely. We
Disabled,
are,
okay.
every single vehicle is ADA compliant,
Okay.
every single one.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see him at the hospital quite often.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I see them around town all the time.
Mhm.
okay. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the proposal presented by MRTD.
Okay.
For the coming year.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So Mark, this will carry on to our August council meeting for final full council
Yeah.
approval. And that's the first Monday in August, whatever that.
August 7th, I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's where it'll get final approval then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Okay, next up is the farm lease with Mark Gebert. Did anyone have any questions or concerns with as it was written? I know we left some blanks on it as far as dates. I did pull the lease agreement that we have with another farmer in town, and it is structured with the calendar year. So I wonder for simplicity, when we fill these dates in, that we would use the calendar year to keep them consistent. Beyond that, I will entertain a motion unless anyone has any further questions on it.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the farm lease. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item up is the East Industrial Park lot pricing. This is something we need to start delving into a little bit. Jeff, I believe you've had a direct conversation with Rodney.
I did. We just wanted to kind of get this thing kicked off so we can start nailing down what we want to charge per acre for the buildable areas. I wanted to make sure we're all in agreement that the lots we would sell is on the buildable area, not the total. That kind of got us last industrial park because we had some giant easements that they couldn't use. So we had larger lots costing more money with lower buildable square footage on them. So it's my recommendation. We look at it that way. The value in the lot is obviously by buildable area. And I don't know how we want to go about recouping, how much we want to try to recoup, or what even industrial lots are worth these days. Do we need to get an appraiser involved? Just something that, just wanted to kind of kick it off tonight. And
I mean, I think in the past, we looked at what we had invested, did we not?
we did,
And then tried to,
with the price of things. I
well,
think
but have lots gone up that much? That would
that's
be-
that's the $100 question.
Right,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yes,
everything's gone up.
it absolutely has.
I mean,
How-
residential lots have probably doubled in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How much did we pay for acre for that?
17.
Seventeen.
Yeah,
14 or 17, I remember.
It was $750,000. I have to do the math. It was like,
I'm thinking 17.5, 16.5.
It was, I'm thinking that sounds right.
can't find the damn calculator. But anyway, it's in that area.
Those are all things we could gather for
Right.
Yeah,
future
that's, we
meetings,
can
so,
find that out pretty quick.
and I'm thinking for like 14 and a half-ish is from the numbers I've got rolling around here, but we can bring more the next meeting.
You know, it's roughly 50 acres at 15 grand an acre, so it's something in that number. Pretty close.
I mean, in my mind, the start would be, what do we got vested? And how much of that do we want to recoup? 100%, I bet if we could, obviously, but.
Well,
you
we
know,
gotta,
if
we
we
gotta,
feel that that would put us out of the market, then
we got an estimate of 3 million to develop the thing.
you know, I'm not sure off the top of my head who you could contact to get some kind of ballpark. Unless look online at somebody else's industrial park and see what they're.
I called Freeburg and talked to them, and the industrial parks that I've, in Sparta, and industrial parks that I've talked to, they had the same kind of setup going as we did when we did our first one, to where the improvements almost got completely paid for by different grants and so they're, I mean,
Total different story.
Freeburg's trying to give them away at 10 grand, a lot. So
So how many buildable acres do you think we're gonna have?
I don't have an answer to that. I would guess by the time you take right of way out and easements out, drainage, detention basins, 35 to 40, something like that.
Okay, we'll continue to think about that. Jeff, I think you've got some ideas here or questions that came up and things maybe we'll have in the packet for next month for some talking points.
Right.
Okay, any other questions with that? Okay, we'll move on. Are there any public comments? Anything for the good of the city this evening under finance? Okay, hearing none, I will adjourn this committee at 6:14 PM. At which time I'll turn it over to personnel.
Call the Personnel Committee to order at 6:14. I have myself, Peel, Dojan, Hebert, and Reinecker here. We have no old business. Under new business, I make a motion to approve the department's meetings from June 19, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next up, looks like we have our vision and dental renewal. If you guys look at the packet, it looks like the raise is minimal. I was surprised. I thought it would have been a lot more, so that's a good sign of things. Any questions?
Nothing on vision either.
What's that?
There's nothing on
Stay
vision.
the same.
No.
Increase in vision.
Well, we can kick it back to Liz, I guess. I know we got, yeah, it's Delta Vision.
No, he just said there's no
There's
change.
no, yeah, it didn't go up at all.
Yeah. Yep, so. Good to me. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. I make the motion that we accept the renewal for the Delta Dental and Delta Vision.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And any public comments, I think for the good of the city. Hearing none, I'll close Personnel Committee at 6:16.
Okay, thank you. We will now shift to public health and safety.
We'll call a public health and safety to order at 6:16. Myself, Reinecker, Hebert, Dojan are present, Nevo is absent.
Yeah.
We have no old business. Under new business, I'll make a motion. We approve the June 19, 2023 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Departmental report is in your packet. Anybody got any questions for John? We'll conclude the public health or public comments. I'm sorry. No public comments?
Any updates on the cameras? When they're supposed to be coming in? Or
Just the
installed?
last one I gave.
That was last couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Same, okay.
Anything else? We'll adjourn public health and safety at 6:17.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll shift to cultural.
I call the cultural committee to order at 6:17. Myself, Damon, Reiniger, Giebert, and Dojan are all present. No old business. I'd like to make a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes from June 19th, 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's a request from the Girl Scout Service Unit 57 to use Rats Park Pavilion number 1 minus the fees for their bridging ceremony on August 13th, 2023. I'd like to make a motion to accept it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. There's a request from St. John's Lutheran to host a cross-country meet on Friday, September 8th. They're going to set up signage and caution tape on Thursday. And they're going to have approximately 15 teams, and then the race will be done by 6:30, and then they'll have everything cleaned up that night. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the Lutheran school to use the Lincoln Park for a cross-country meet.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The Chamber of Commerce is having a golf tournament on Friday, September 8th, and they are looking for a team sponsor and or a whole sponsor from the city council. We normally,
Typically do both.
I
We
thought so.
we
Yeah.
have, we have a
Okay.
team in and we have a whole sponsorship.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion that we enter a team, or we pay for a team sponsorship and a whole sponsorship for the Chamber of Commerce golf tournament. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Request from the Beautification Committee to collect on November 10th and 11th at the square. November 10th from 2 to 5 p.m. and November 11th from 8 to 12. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept Redbud Beautification to collect at the square.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Then we have one last, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 23-002, authorizing the approval of street closing for the Redbud Chamber of Commerce lighted parade and holiday happenings from 5:30 to 7:30 on Friday, November 24th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any public comments or anything for the good of the city?
Ben, I'll just comment
Yep.
on the golf tournament. If anybody's interested, I guess let me know and I'll start gathering names for a team. So.
All right. I close the cultural committee at 6:20 p.m.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll shift to Public Works.
I call the Public Works at 6:20 with myself. Dojan, Hannibut, Schwarzkopf, and Reiniger all present. On roll business, as you can see, Josh did kind of print everything out for us. On the power plant, it says pretty much business as usual. No scheduled runs during the peak summer season. Said they had the urge testing report to declare net capacity, which determines the non-spinning reserve credit we receive each month. So otherwise, pretty much business. I know the water aerator replacement project is, I guess, kind of going on, but they've been doing some stuff I know, but to proceed. So they need a notice to proceed.
Yes, and then once we get at that, I think there's a 30-day window. Am I correct with that? Jeff?
The notice to proceed was sent in by our contractor. So
Okay,
this is really just informational.
gotcha. That's what I thought, because I thought that was all done. So, okay, very good. Basically, everything else is really no reports. So under new business, I'd like to make a motion. We approve the prior month's meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is a recommendation to end Chad Groman's 6-month probationary period effective 7/2/23. So I'd like to make that recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is a recommendation to end Sheriff Soccer's 6-month probationary period effective 7/19/23. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is a proposal from Paul Mueller Company on a heat exchanger plates for generators 7 and 8. It's requesting authorization to purchase the plate pack at the cost of $14,845. Said it is a budget item. I'd like to make a motion. We approve the authorization to purchase the plate pack at $14,845.
Kurt, what's the other? Yeah. The others on this invoice for this quote.
Yeah.
Do you know there, Jeff?
Those were alternate
No.
bids that Josh put out there just to see what it would cost. We don't need the gaskets at this time, and our guys can do the cleaning of the existing that we
Okay,
have,
okay.
so. Yeah.
So you're good. Okay, you made motion,
Yes.
second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is a sewer adjustment request for 116 Boulder Drive. Looks like they had a sewer credit for the amount of 43,3060 due to an issue with their sprinkler system. So I'd like to make a motion. We approve that sewer credit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other comments? Not, I move to adjourn at 6:23.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will shift to the zoning committee.
Okay, I'll call the zoning committee meeting to order at 6:23. Myself, Gebert, Schwarzkopf, Demond, and Nevo are all present and Nevoice is absent. The comprehensive plan, I know Jeff said, you sent out the RFQs. Any information?
We're just waiting until they come back in August.
Okay. East Industrial Park Expansion Project, we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, but do you have anything additional?
I talked to Volkert late last week. They are hoping we get the IDS back in August. That's what we're still waiting on.
Okay. And the City Hall repair contract is in your packet from Quadrant Design. I know we've been discussing this for quite a while. So this should be the contract, the final contract for the first, I guess, the first phase of what we're wanting to do with it.
The contracts to seal up the exterior and waterproof the building. You're looking at about $110,000 in construction. That was the estimate back in February. Quadrant Design's fee for that is $16,900. And they would start in 8 to 10, or they would finish it in 8 to 10 weeks.
So I was confused with this because the way this read to me is that they're just preparing documents to get the City Hall repaired.
They're preparing all the bid specs.
Okay, and so it still could come in way above $100 and some odd $1,000 if,
That was an estimate back in February.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
okay,
And we'll be able to pick and choose if we need to, if it does come in crazy.
okay. So this is, I just wanted to make sure that this is only for them to prepare documents, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just asking for, or just looking to approve this contract for 16.9 for the quadrant part of it.
Yes, sir.
Correct, okay.
They'll bid specs, then it'll go out for bids, and then it'll be up to us or you guys to decide what we want to do.
Any further discussion? All right, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the City Hall repair contract from Quadrant Design for a total maximum services fee of $16,900.
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. I'd like to make a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments or anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I adjourn at 6:26, the zoning committee.
Okay, thank you. And the last committee of the evening is recreational facilities.
Thank you, Mayor. Myself, Hannibal, Peel and Demond are present. Nevoy is absent. I call to order at 6:26. Under old business, Rats Park renovation project. An estimated budget's been included from the Farnsworth Group. I believe what we need this evening is the green light to go out for bids. I spoke to Jeff today. It sounds like everything's moving along pretty well and pretty much on budget for the most part, you know, after we changed a few things around, but it's looking very promising. So Jeff, if you could elaborate a little bit on how everything's been going and where we're at.
Yes, Farnsworth has been excellent to work with. Right now, if you look at the second page there, the estimate is $849,128. That's about roughly 50 grand over budget. That does include a roughly $22,000 contingency. There are some things that again, the playground equipment, which is the rocks, that is an alternate. So if this thing comes in high, we can remove that from the bid. That in itself would take care of the overage that they're estimating. We've also did the exercise equipment as well as an alternate. In talking with our representative at IDNR, they said that since we already do have playground equipment out there, it would be best to, if we had to eliminate something, to eliminate playground equipment and keep the exercise station.
Really?
I was kind of pushing the other way around, but
I
that's,
thought you was gonna say the opposite of that.
yeah. So
Has anybody ever seen anybody use that exercise equipment at Lincoln Park?
At
Yes.
any park,
Really?
Mhm.
I never have,
never.
never.
yeah,
At Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
you're the one.
You can reach.
You know, my question is, I think you
will have a
I've never seen anybody use it. Apparently it's not- Okay,
One thing we are looking at with this, they've rethought the exercise equipment, before we had to put, I don't know, it's 8 or 12 inches of that, it's engineered fiber, that playground mulch. And they think they've changed their spec on that to where we could just pour a concrete slab, because the fall potential is just not there. So that would make a nice thing for maintenance and trimming around and everything else, if we could just do a slab, so.
For sure. What, I am curious, the pedestal grill that says 9,
Yeah, that's why it's in yellow. I think we're gonna reduce that. I don't think there's a need for 9 new grills out there.
not at all. We just bought another one. We shouldn't,
yeah, I was.
we
I
don't,
was
we
gonna
shouldn't need
question
any.
that too.
Yeah,
That should
I
be
think it's-
0.
It's gotta be a typo or something. It doesn't make any sense, because even on the original paperwork, it read 1, so I don't know, if somebody's fingers.
Yeah, and that was for the one I think you just purchased.
Yeah,
But I was gonna take
Every
a look
pavilion,
and see
we're
if we
good.
truly need 9. I think, you think that it should be 0?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and if we need one, then we'll purchase it separately.
Because we would not necessarily install one by the splash pad.
No,
So
Not at
I'm with you, Kyle. I think that could turn into a 0
Yes.
possibly. So there's another possible savings line.
And then the trash receptacle and the benches, that is for the splash pad area.
But
Okay.
those numbers are not included in the total bid number, correct? Or are they?
Yes.
Because it says city responsible for costs. I didn't actually total it up.
I don't.
Yeah, maybe they are.
I don't see where it says city responsible.
In the header for it.
Oh. Yeah, never mind, Jeff, it is because there's a design fee of 66,000 in there. The ones that are city responsible, it says it on that line.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would be responsible for material testing, and
Right,
soil
right.
borings, which will be very minimum at most.
Right.
In fact, the soil boring, we can take out, they're not gonna do them.
They're not?
No. The building that we're proposing, that concrete building, it's plug and play. They basically excavate, they put a base in there, which is basically compacted rock. And it sets right on top of there. So it's not a rigid foundation. It can move a little and it won't hurt anything.
Yeah, but what about the splash pad itself?
Not heavy enough according to them, according to Farnsworth.
I think with all that water in there, that would be pretty heavy.
Yeah, I don't know how deep the water gets on that thing. I wouldn't
The
think.
water doesn't get deep. That's
No,
just
but
it.
it's still gonna be tens of thousands of gallons of water. I would imagine it could sit there.
On top of the splash pad?
Yeah,
No, it's like spraying your patio. How
Okay.
wet does your patio get? I mean, yeah, ideally, water doesn't stand on a splash
yeah, it
pad.
should just roll.
That's the beauty of these, because kids, the drowning component is gone.
I see where you're coming from, but that's what the experts are telling us.
Hmm.
It'll have 2 drains on it, so it just won't be funneled to one drain.
will we get any kind of assurance then within the first 5 years that with heaving and upheaval or with freezing and thawing that it won't crack?
The way we're gonna end up having to do this is that Vortex will be in charge of the splash pad. And we will have an individual contract with them. We won't have to actually bid the toys and that stuff. Same thing with the building. And I'm sure it'll be in our contract.
Okay.
Offhand, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, yeah, that's shocking to me that
So it appears,
But you know what happens with concrete, the more wet it is, the stronger it gets. And it will be reinforced.
so it appears that we have a few cost saving measures here
Yes.
in addition to what we got going on, so.
And they did say that they tried to aim a little higher. They don't want to be, they'd rather come in high and it come in a little bit under rather than come in low and then holy crap, what happened?
Sure.
When it comes in high.
Okay. So what proposal do you need this evening?
If you guys are good with it, when they say go, we've already sent this out to ID and our plans are at 95%. I've reviewed them. Josh has looked at them. I think we're ready to go when they finish them up. If your guys are good, I'd like to be able to tell them to go when they're ready to go. We could get permission at August council.
For bids.
Yes.
Okay.
The idea is, I'd sure like to see some construction out there this fall yet if we can. It won't be a whole lot, I don't think, but at least we'll get started.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, then I'll make a proposal to authorize to go out to bids after everything comes back and Jeff's ready to do it.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next one is the Musket Facilities, multi-purpose building repairs. They've been working on it, but as of right now, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that from the agenda, and they said that they'll get with me when they're ready, so no action taken. Under new business, I'll make the motion to approve prior month's meeting minutes from June 19th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item is the YMCA pool report. I think, Susan, did you meet with them?
I emailed a couple of questions. One question I had, since this started in May, I'm questioning whether those preseason sales like we did at the end of the year, the old rates, I don't know whether those sales are in those May totals. I also questioned the salaries line because they have already expended 95% of their budgeted salaries already at the end of June. So those are questions I asked for explanations and I have not received them yet.
Okay.
So I will keep asking until I get an answer on those.
Okay,
I can simply email you guys when I get that answer.
perfect. Thank you.
I didn't know if you had questions on any of the other lines, though.
It appears that everything went off without a hitch for the big swim meet this weekend. Lots and lots of people came to town and I have not heard anything negative and the park looks good, so. It sounds like everything went off well, so thank you to everybody who was involved with that.
It did help greatly to park everybody in the soccer fields also. I mean, that was hugely helpful.
Yes. Next item is repair kit for the water/dog fountain at Lincoln Park. I'm not sure who was on council at the time, but there was, the Muskets got a water fountain donated, the dog fountain, all that, and I guess it has since been broken. I know it gets used a lot, so Josh did the research on purchasing a new one or just getting the repair kit. And he recommended doing the repair kit. So we'd like to see that get put back out there. So I would make the motion to purchase as presented in the packet for $1,561.18.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That thing freeze, Kyle, or what happened to it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Hope not. I know we have another one that we have to replace down at the big pavilion, but it's nothing like
they're-
that. That's
I don't
minimal.
think they're that old, are they?
No, it's only a couple years old.
That's what
Yeah,
I thought.
I don't know what happened.
I think Josh was even not completely, could not pin down exactly if there was a small amount of water in it, or it was not explainable what happened.
And I know he spoke, I think, to Ultra Play because they're the ones who we got it from. So I honestly don't know.
That's why this
I was just
option,
trying to think so it doesn't happen.
Sure.
again.
Well, we don't have it
exactly.
again. They're not cheap. Any public comments? Good, anything for the good of the order? I do have one question. This week I got a email and I'm not sure who did, but apparently the VFW is possibly getting a piece of military equipment for Rats Park by their VFW memorial. It sounds like it was approved in 2012.
They've talked about that for a long time.
And I don't know if it's coming to fruition, but it could be but they don't know what it's gonna be or what it entails. I'm not sure if you can remember. I don't know if this has to sit on a piece of concrete or if there's gonna be any cost entailed with it. But I'm just letting it out there that
I
it sounds
think
like
at
it's
the
gonna
time
happen.
They had an individual that was going to donate the concrete pad to put it on.
Okay, but I don't know what the equipment's gonna be. I know very minimal because I wasn't here at the time. So just to put it all on your radar, it sounds like something could be happening sometime in the next few months or a year. I'm not sure, but if you run into Clarence, he might have some information for you. In the meantime, I'll try to find out what I can. Other than that, if anybody has any other public comments, I will adjourn at 6:38.
Okay, that concludes our evening. So we will see you on August 7th for our council meeting. Have a good evening.